Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. That's a great quote by Einstein. So today we're going to focus on the difference between knowing and understanding. There is a difference between knowing and understanding. When we think about things like exercise, some of us know that we should exercise and we exercise, but we don't really understand all the effects to our body. We know we want to maybe do it for stress relief or for health or to lose weight or those kinds of things, but we really don't know underneath the science of everything that's happening with each muscle. Maybe some of you think about data or think when you read reports and you get the data, it's like you know the data and you know the summary of the data, but you really don't understand what's behind the data. Or take yourself back to college or high school when you had to learn those algebraic equations, and you would see them and you go, okay, I'll memorize the equation and I can apply it, but I really don't know what it means conceptually. I just need to get my homework done. So we think to all those different things, and there's really a big difference between knowing versus understanding. So knowing is really taking in the information and reading about it, grasping maybe some different tidbits of ideas and those kinds of things. But really information gathering is really knowing. When we think about the line that we've heard a lot is knowledge is power. That's been a line for a really long time. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So people take in all this information, especially with Google and all of the search engines and the IT and the technology that we have. We're seeking and seeking more and more information. But is it getting us into trouble? Because really we have to think about, what do you understand with that? Now, sometimes knowing is just good. Some of us are just curious and we love to know things, but do we really take the time to understand? So understanding is a little bit different, right? Understanding is having that knowledge and being able to think about the application of the knowledge. It's more of a conceptual piece that takes into consideration a few different things. Maybe if I have that knowledge, I might think about, how does this knowledge conceptualize in different situations with different people, with different settings and different environments? That's a lot more deep than it is just knowing. So I think we have to really look at the difference between the two. From a psychological perspective, knowing is really taking the information in the mind. So it goes into the mind. Actually, when you understand it, it really is a brain function. It's really a psychological connection of concept and conceptualizing. So that's a really different part of the brain. And some of our brains really work better at knowing. Some of us are curious and like to know things. And some of us are really like to understand how things work. So some of it is our natural wiring when you're thinking about what is kind of your way. So I really think we need to think about the understanding piece that's important to our future, because understanding things really helps us gather that experience. I think about some situations where I have younger folks in the environment, in the workplaces, and they know, I know because I learned it in college, and I know because I read the book, and I know because I did research, and that's great. But we also have to know that when we gain experience with that information and put it in different settings, that knowledge that we gain from those experiences are very, very helpful. So I think we need to be careful to think about knowledge. Sometimes is good, but we really have to think about understanding. And sometimes that gap between knowing and understanding could be a barrier to us in terms of our success levels. So I just have asked you to think about that. If that's something that you've been doing, saying, I know, I know, I know, part of it is understanding it. So if you're not a natural understander and have natural desire to do that, part of it is thinking about who you can tap into, who could help you know that. And sometimes just knowing that you have to put it into different contexts and stop and think about, how does this affect people? How does this affect the situation? How does this affect the environment? So knowledge is so powerful, but really understanding is where we need to move to. So for positive charge this week, I want you first to think about yourself. Are you more about knowing or understanding? Second is, if you have a gap, what is the way you can think about how you can move to understanding? And third, there may be a certain topic that you are great at understanding. So what is that area maybe that is your expertise in understanding? So as we think about knowing, there's lots of information to grasp in our world today. Understanding it really makes us successful in utilizing the information in the most appropriate settings. And that way we can really think about how we can apply it, how we can conceptualize it, and how we can all be successful. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to get your mind on.